Hey guys, this is Vol, and this weekend I was at a 1 40,000 tournament in Whangarei, which is about 2 hours drive north of Auckland. The tournament was called Battle Above the Brynderwyns, and as I believe, the Brynderwyns are a series of hills or mountains or something just below the town where the venue was held, so that's the reason for it. Now, just before I launch into the first video, which will be about the armies and about the tournament itself, and then the next video after that will be the games, I just want to give you guys a spoiler alert. I'm going to give away the results of the tournament and how I did and which armies were in it first, so that I can actually talk about that while I'm looking at pictures of the armies. I would strongly recommend that if you guys actually want to watch the games before knowing what happened, as the outcome, just pause this video or just stop it and go and watch the other videos that I'll be uploading. If they're not up yet, just wait and they'll be up shortly. But just again, spoiler it, guys. If you don't want to find out what's going to happen, just don't watch this video. Watch this one last. Anyway, I actually placed third, which was a pretty big achievement. It was only a 20-something-ish man event, but there were several, maybe half a dozen players who were really good at 40k and had some great armies, but somehow I managed to do well enough to win 4 games, lose 2, and place third. Everybody really liked my army. There were a lot of sort of good conversions in it, really simple but effective ones. Color scheme worked out, and just people liked the look of it. Plus, the army's quite soft. It wasn't as hard as some of the other armies, so I got a good comp score and must have got decent sports as well. And throughout the draw, I managed to avoid all the really tough matchups and hard opponents. And with a couple of losses, I managed to just sort of submarine my way to the top. So really stoked with that. Just want to talk about the terrain here in this first few photos. This is made by my friend George, who actually kept me at his house for the whole weekend. They accommodated me there, I should say, over the weekend, which was highly appreciated, so shout out to him. He's also got this terrain, which I believe his brother has made. His brother was the ghost player for the tournament. You can even see inside this chapel that there's like an ultramarine sort of logo, like an ultramarines chapel, and just some great buildings, so that was really good to see. Going to the pictures of my army, you guys already know what I've got. 3 rhinos, berserkers, 2 units of CSM, land raider, 4 terminators of Khorne, Khorne Lord, lightning claws, demon prince, warp time, 3 obliterators, defiler with 2 combat arms. So pretty solid sort of stuff. Nothing really over the top or cheesy, but nothing that's really sort of inefficient either. So it gave me a lot of good tactical options, and I could use sort of good tactical decisions to help me. Next photo shows you a bit of detail. I didn't really end up finishing the entire army, but I did finish the Terminator squad. It was really just the berserkers, obliterators, a couple of vehicles, and the defiler on the back of it that didn't really polish off, but people didn't really look closely enough to see the inconsistency there. And next photo, yeah, pretty much both CSM squads were finished. Just a few of the berserkers that weren't done there in the background to the left, and the rhinos, not really much highlighting going on, but they're painted at least. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people were just impressed with the wide variety of conversions there, and it's really just kit bashing, swapping sort of heads from the Marauder and Flagellant kits from 40k and the Chaos Knight kits and so forth, and of course Warriors of Chaos basic stuff. The obliterators, I had to finish the third guy for the event, the third Minotaur here. He's got his arm has actually come from the Help at Abomination kit, which I picked up recently. Really love it. I think that's the best part of this whole squad, to be honest, is that one arm. This little chap's picked up the Demon Prince shoulder pads, and he's even got a Chaos icon on his forehead. Didn't really know whether that was going to look any good, but kind of looks a bit silly, but whatever. And his gun is just an amalgamation of whatever I could find. So next image, this is Chris's army. This is the Black Hands. They're a unique Space Marines chapter which he has designed himself. It's pretty basic stuff. He's got 8 Terminators. He's got a Terminator Librarian, Master of the Forge, 4 Rhinos with attack squads, and 3 Dreadnoughts with twin autocannons. Close look at his Librarian here. The photo's a bit foggy, but you can see his Tech Marine in focus a bit better. That guy really blasts at you with some plasma pistol shots and flamers and all sorts of jazz, so we'll see me against him in game 2. Next photo here, this is the guy they call Bartosz. I voted this guy as having the best painted army of the tournament, simply because it's, if you look closely, you can see that the whole army is painted with a consistent amount of technical detail. It's all completely finished and polished up. Some of the other armies had more interesting conversions and flair and so forth, but this one really just showcases a very good finished, highly polished army, which I quite enjoyed. Next photo shows you a close-up of his librarian here. I believe this guy is from the Space Hulk kit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where I think it has come from, so I quite like the glowing eyes there as well. And next photo, this is Furioso Dreadnought and some speeders at the back and drop pod, and as you can see, everything is, transfers and the whole lot. Just nicely done. Next image, this is a guy called Whangarei, and he's got a very tough looking Chaos Space Marines army. This features basically a Nurgle theme, but on the other hand, he's got 2 Land Raiders. He's got Abaddon, who isn't really Nurgle, dedicated Nurgle, and he's got a Demon Prince of Slaanesh with the Lash of Submission. So cheesy sort of stuff. I mean, I almost feel like this is a little bit of a crutch army, but with Abaddon there, Abaddon, I think he fits really great into the context of this army. I wouldn't take him because he's too many points for this sort of 1850 sort of style of play, but I guess he works well with an army that really just sort of trudges on in and sort of bunkers down and just murders you slowly. There's a bit of a close-up on his Abaddon, by the way. Alright, and this is Hayden, who actually won the tournament overall. He came first. He's one of the better players around. He comes to a lot of tournaments. He was at the Masters. He's got an Avatar and a generally mech Eldar list, and unless you're going to go something like 20 Warlocks on jet bikes, I think this is basically the best sort of Eldar army you can put together. He's got 2 units of Fire Dragons and Falcons. He's got tons of Wave Serpents, just the minimum number of Dire Avengers he needs in the Serpents to make them scoring. He's got Eldrad as well. So, and then there's the 3 Walkers with Scatterlays. It's just really tough stuff. I mean, there's no real big concessions in this list, so you'd expect him to do very well with it. Next image, this is a close look at his avatar. It's Forge World Avatar. He's done a pretty decent job painting it. Maybe not the sort of best highlighting, but it's decent. I don't think I rank this guy too highly in terms of painting overall. There were some guys that did their armies better, but it's finished to a pretty good gaming standard. Next image, this is a guy whose name I can't forget. I think it's Daniel Hayden. He's got 3 Trigons and some other big nasties. I think he's even taken the Swarm Lord. People that were at the tournament will have to correct me if I'm wrong. It might have just been a Hive Tyrant with some sort of talons and things. But he's a pretty good player. He's got a very tough army, and he generally did pretty well. But I managed to rank higher than he did at the end because I didn't face any of the last 3 guys that I just talked about there. By the way, the guy that took Abaddon and the Plague Marines came second, and I didn't play any of these guys, so that's how I managed to surf my way into the podium. Next photo is a bit more of a close-up on his Tyrant there. Next photo after that is a very similar Chaos Space Marines army to the one that I took. The only real difference is that instead of a Land Raider, he's got some it's lesser demons, and I think he's got a slightly larger Berserker squad. He may even have Khan or something in there, but everything else is pretty much the same. Go to the next photo, you can see his Demon Prince, and he's taken a bit of a different route than I did with the types of hands and things he's used on his kit, but it's generally a really good kit. Next image, more Eldar. This is a bit of a softer Eldar army with lots of infantry, and you've got the Banshees and the Striking Scorpions and stuff, and the old classic Wraithlord, or Eldar Dreadnought as it was called back in the day when that model came out. Next photo again shows you a bit more of a close-up. He's just got old style models as well, and this guy must have bought the stuff, yonks ago. I've still got some of the stuff myself, actually, from my own Eldar army, but I'm thinking of selling it off. Next up, this is Philip and his awesome Vestroyan Imperial Guard army. I just love this army. When I go to these tournaments, I've got a player's pick for the best painted army, but I've also got a player's pick for the, army that I would most like to take home if, somebody was just to donate their army to me. It would definitely be this one. Everything is done to a nice standard. It's really cohesively painted and just a great theme. And he's got all the Vestroyan models there. Next photo after this shows you his Inquisitor, which he's taken just so he can get a Calidus Assassin in there. All of his spaces have got the rubble and stuff, looking really cool. Next one is this Battle Squad. Psycho Squad, which keeps in a Chimera. Dirty stuff, but that's how you play Battle Psychos to their best potential. I love all the Vestroyan guys with their mustaches and stuff, very Russian looking. And next one is his Veteran Squad in Chimera with tons of melter guns. So yeah, not the softest list around, but it definitely gets style points for me for looking so good. Even got some Rough Riders here. He's got 10 of them, and he told me that because he kept missing and so forth. I actually played this guy in Game 5, so watch out for that battle report. It's a real doozy of a report, so keep watching, guys. And next photo, this is Dave Wilson, I think I got his name right, with the Sisters of Battle. Just going to go straight to the next photo because the first photo was terrible. With all the white reflecting on my camera, it was quite hard to get a good vision, but he's got 3 Exorcists and basically just Battle Sisters and Rhinos. He's got some Seraphim, Canoness, and yeah, pretty cool sort of stuff. Didn't get to play him, unfortunately. Next one after this is a guy that took a generic Space Marines army. I don't know what his chapter is called. I think it's Marines Intrepid or something like that. It's got a Devastator squad, Terminators, a couple of land Rhinos. Just going to go to the next photo. This is his captain here. Looks like the one from the Battle for Skull Pass kit. So yeah, Intrepid on the flag. And next photo shows you his Rhino with the freehand poster image mural type thing of a Marine bashing the crap out of a Tyranid, Gene Stealer or a Hormagaunt or something. And this is why this guy won Best Painted. I didn't vote this guy Best Painted by a long shot. I think the rest of his army is sort of, it's consistently done and it's nicely painted, but it doesn't display a high level of technical ability. But because of stuff like this, which he's spent the most time on, everybody was just wowed and voted him best. Next image, a pretty basic Chaos Space Marines army that one of the kids took. No Land Raider. He's got some Possessed in there as well. Pretty basic stuff, and I don't think that he was able to do particularly well with this, but good to see a bit of diversity here. Next image, a bit of a close look at his Nurgle guy, which I quite like the look of, with the sort of the bit above his head, all sort of how would you put that? Green plague something. Next image, this is George, and yeah, shout out to George again, being the host for the weekend, showing me around, feeding me, giving me a place to stay. Didn't get to play him, which was unfortunate, but he's got a Black Templars army with tons of troops in it, and there's 2 of the old school Predators, which I'll show you in a minute. But next photo's got his chaplain with some Servitors. So pretty neatly done there, and yeah, I actually don't have a photo of a Predator, sorry, but they're the old classic ones. Next up, another Eldar army, and not quite as dirty as Hayden's one, but it's got some Striking Scorpions, plenty of Wave Serpents and some Prisms, and of course the token Avatar. Bit of a closer look shows you that it's the old school Avatar, and he's mounted on a big sort of rock, and he's even holding an Orchid. Then we've got some Tyranids. This guy did pretty well at the event, although last game I think losing to Hayden's Eldar. He's got a very dark, sinister-looking Tyranid army, so the next image of that shows you his whatever. I can't remember the names of the Tyranid big beasties, but he's got quite a lot of the little ones. And next after that, I think he's got some sort of Winged Hive Tyrant. I believe that's what that's got to be. And next up, this is Jed's Fire Falcons army. Very rare that you see an army painted bright orange. I believe they call these guys the Tangerines. That's the nickname for them. Next image closer up, he's got Vulcan and a Librarian. So this is a really dirty, hard as nails generic Space Marines army, because it's just stacked full of salamanders sort of stuff. It's basically a salamanders wannabe army. Next image, you can see they've got the blue flame coming out of the heavy flame, which I think looks quite cool, and I like the angular sort of posing of this land speeder. And he's got some dreads. He's got 2 of these dreads with the heavy plasma or plasma cannon rather, and twin-linked autocannon. Next image, this is Andre, and he's got a pretty old school sort of looking Eldar army. He's got some swooping orcs there as well. Very soft stuff, but he was the ghost player. He wasn't in it to win. He was just there to sort of show everybody a good time and sort of help the tournament run smoothly, so props to him for doing that. Next image shows you his swooping hawks. You'd very rarely see these in a high-level game of 40k because they are not very effective, but it's just awesome to see him just chuck them out there. Next image after that, we've got an Ultramarines army. This one has Sicarius and Cassius and Cronus, so pretty special character heavy. He's got a lot of advice from the internet as to how to build his list. I play this guy in Game 6, so watch out for that. He's even got an old school sort of Thunderfire cannon or whatever that is up at the back there. Next image shows you a bit of a close look at his Terminators. Probably not the best painted, but once he sort of learns how to do highlighting a bit better, I'm sure this army will start to really pop out. And maybe apply some washes to the heads of the Terminators. I think would be the good way to go. A Sermon Blue, good colour there if you're keen. Next image, this is quite a nasty looking demon's army, sort of some of it painted, some of it not. He's got some mad conversions, so we're going to have a close look. This next picture of his is a soul grinder, and he's got all sorts of bits and bobs and junk sort of thrown in there, so hard to tell what's going on, but it certainly grinds souls, that's for sure. Next image, you've got Scarbrand and Skulltaker, so yeah, special characters galore. They look pretty choppy in there as well. Next image, there's this other soul grinder, and it looks like a sort of a mutated sort of demon clown engine type thing with all the colours, but yeah, very scary stuff. And that's basically it. So stay tuned for the battle reports, guys. I'm going to be going through them 1 through to 6 and going through the whole lot. Hope you get something out of it.